Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. So first up today, we have opening statements set to begin today for a trial over allegations that Autopilot had led to a death. This from a 2019 accident that led to 1 fatality and 2 serious injuries, and Tesla is being accused of faulty Autopilot software that led to the accident. Tesla denied liability, saying that the driver consumed alcohol before getting behind the wheel, and Tesla said it was not clear if Autopilot was even engaged. The good news for Tesla is earlier this year, they won a case, and after that case was ended, a jury said that they believed Tesla warned its drivers that the driver is still in control, and it was actually driver distraction that was to blame. It's different this time around with a fatality involved, but a pretty important case to maybe set the tone for future cases like this. And we just talked last week about Tesla hiring more on the legal side. This exhibit A of why they should do that. This is also exactly why I tipped my cap to Mercedes yesterday for taking that step to level 3 to deal with the regulatory stuff, because they're publicly accepting responsibility for anything that happens while that's operating. You can imagine the headaches as that technology scales, all of the liability that also comes with it. From Bloomberg, we finally get some insight into what the UAW is looking for when it comes to pay increases. They started at 40%, now they're willing to go as low as 30%. They're saying that 30% takes into account a COLA, cost of living allowance, and a general wage increase. They're also saying a wage hike at that level should help them to grow interest in the union, maybe helping it to grow its membership that over the last few years has been in decline. Yet again, we have 2 sources saying the UAW and Shawn Fain are indeed trying to target Tesla by contacting workers there. UAW membership has fallen to 400,000 from more than 1 million back in the 70s. Remember, the wage increase is only one aspect of this bigger puzzle, and if no deal is reached today on Thursday, then tomorrow Friday, the strike is going to expand.
It's such an exciting time to be in this industry right now. Every day, every hour, every minute is a new challenge. And this is what we have. Hi, I'm David Lau, VP Vehicle Software at Tesla. I'm here at Tesla's Shanghai R&D Center with the brand new Model 3. Here you can see the newly designed front fascia, aggressive styling, but familiar design elements. I can't wait to show you everything that's new in this vehicle, so let's jump in and take a look. Here we are inside the new Model 3. There's a fresh new look in the interior, clean lines on the instrument panel, and we've added customizable RGB accent lights all around the cabin. We've improved noise reduction, both from wind noise and from road noise, which allows the newly upgraded audio system to really shine and gives us opportunities in software to create awesome entertainment experiences. It's a uniquely immersive experience, especially at night in the dark, with the bright display here and this immersive audio experience that's tailored specifically for the cabin. It's impossible for me to describe how awesome it is. You just have to experience it to know what I'm talking about. Here we are in the second row now. Let me show you one of my all-time favorite features, which we brought from Models S and X into Model 3, where we've added a brand new touchscreen display that supports all the entertainment functionality of the front row. I can use the touchscreen to adjust my own climate control back here. I can even move the seat or move it back, so if you've got kids in the back row, you can find their favorite TV show. At Tesla, we are always trying to think of ways that we keep making your experience as a Tesla owner better and better over time. Ever since we started delivering Model S in China many years ago, we knew that China was going to be an incredibly important market for us. We knew that we needed to have a software team on the ground to support manufacturing of cars in China for China. And we're continuing to invest in developing leadership of our technical teams here. But that's what we do at Tesla. We take on impossible problems, and we work together. All of this It's just the beginning.
Just the beginning, just getting warmed up. If you've been around the channel, you've certainly heard that phrase before. Those videos aren't advertising, but it's good to see Tesla ramp up the marketing activities specifically for the Chinese market where the competition is the highest. Tesla has now opened up its supercharger network to non-Teslas in New Zealand. Here's the updated list of where non-Teslas can access the supercharger network, continuing to grow, but bear in mind, not all Tesla supercharger locations in each country will actually be open to non-Teslas. The closest Tesla showroom to Ashley and I is about an hour and a half away, but it works out quite well because we love our quick weekend getaway trips. Because of that, I'm often looking for the latest and greatest when it comes to travel backpacks, and I have to admit, this new one from Exter, who did offer to sponsor this video, may become my go-to, which would replace my Peak design that I've used for years. And if you're familiar with the space, you'll know this is incredibly high praise. Just listen to the features. 180-degree flip open access, which is beautiful, no more blind digging. It's made of recycled, water-resistant fabric, so it's weatherproof for hiking. The walls are cushioned to protect your camera gear, laptops, or any devices. It comes with premium auto-locking, waterproof zippers, which is where water usually gets into bags. It has durable zinc alloy buckles, plenty of soft-lined separate pockets for sunglasses or devices. There are outer compression straps to secure a tripod or a yoga mat. It comes with an RFID protection pocket, a side pocket for a drink, and a luggage pass-through strap. And a nice bonus, it comes with these reusable water-resistant bags that are perfect for dirty clothes or shoes. So you can go grab this bundle that comes with a laptop power bank, a tech case, and a camera cube. Plus, Extra, of course, still has my favorite smart wallets too, if you haven't checked one of those out yet. I was able to get you guys 20% off with my code Electrified20. The link is in the description below. Enjoy.
I think the key here is Tesla's innovative. They're spending a lot of money to fund this innovation, and they're going to spend as much as they need to keep free cash flow positive. And so that's how they're working on this clearing price for the vehicles. They want to keep their supply base fully utilized. They want to keep positive free cash flow coming in so they can continue to self-fund. They're all self-funded, these R&D efforts. It's not like a lot of these AI companies that are going out and buying all this compute from NVIDIA, they're going out and raising these huge rounds to get all this money, or they're just going in on debt. And Tesla is, their goal here is to self-fund it through this period. And then just think about this on the other side of it. When interest rates start coming down, not only are interest rates going to start coming down and Tesla can stabilize their pricing, if not even increase it, because the cost of the consumer is going to be that much lower, their demand should go up. And the fruits of all these R&D labors are going to really start bearing fruit. So the timing is really set up well for the future for Tesla.
Very well said by Jeff. And I think right now the markets are going to get lulled to sleep in this high interest rate environment where Tesla is increasing its capital expenditures each year, a lot of which is going to go to AI compute. And at least part of the market may be forgetting what the other side of this high interest rate environment should look like. Whenever rates start coming down and a lot of Tesla's investments actually start to pay off, it's going to be a very enjoyable time. It could be 1 year, it could be 3 years. Either way, it's coming. I believe S.E. Robinson broke the news from this obscure source, Automate, that the Tesla diner is now under construction. Finally. Looking at the job address, 7001 West Santa Monica Boulevard. Checks out. Work description, proposed restaurant. It could just be that these images shared don't do a good job of conveying the size of this plot of land, but the pictures do make it look a little smaller than I would anticipate. When complete, the diner should cover 2 floors and have enough space for 218 restaurant seats. Of those, 93 will be on the first floor, 70 seats inside, and another 23 outside. The second floor will also hold a 77-seat theater sitting area. With 45-foot tall LED movie screens that will be running short movie clips from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m., but the diner itself is possibly going to be open 24 hours. The restaurant is set to be surrounded by 32 charging stalls, and they may have car hop style wait staff bringing meals to folks who order from their cars. This will almost certainly become an iconic Tesla location plenty of people will want to visit, And as Elon has said, what is the point of solving all of the world's problems if you don't have some fun along the way? Omar from Whole Mars gave Gary Black a ride on FSD Beta .7.2. Gary Black actually had some of the most bullish comments from him on FSD that I've heard. Before I share that, he also said, "It's clear to me no one can catch Tesla in generalized autonomy given Tesla's big head start and end-to-end net focus."
I really think they can get there, and if they can get there, they have the productive capacity of millions of cars, right?
Sure.
Even if Waymo and Cruise created a general purpose self-driving car today, how long would it take them to get to Tesla's level of production on 4 continents?
Couldn't do it. And I don't view Waymo and Cruise as being the competition. I really don't.
Yeah. I mean,
they're geo-fenced and,
right.
you know, they just can't, like, as you say, turn on a button and everything suddenly works. And those cars cost a ton of money.
Right.
I mean, this is, you know, incrementally. It doesn't cost that much to put this into a car.
Slowly but surely, Gary Black is coming around, now acknowledging that Waymo and Cruise really are not Tesla's FSD competition. It's geofence, it's not really scalable, the vehicles are expensive, they don't have production, at least from a volume perspective. And Gary's take on this does actually matter because he's one of the leading voices when it comes to bridging the gap between Wall Street and Tesla retail. Pierre Ferragu gets it, Dan Ives gets it, Adam Jonas is coming around. So the more pieces of Wall Street that start to understand the story and be public about it, the more likely it is that the rest of Wall Street will feel more comfortable maybe starting to attribute some value to Tesla's FSD. At a time when most of the OEMs are shrinking their operations, laying people off, Tesla is continuing to hire and expand pretty quickly. Now on X, on each of their different profiles, they have job listings directly. Over time, Elon wants to turn X into a job recruitment competitor, a way for companies to hire top talent directly on the platform. And in the long run, that will certainly benefit Tesla, whose reach on X is continuing to grow. We have a new report from The Telegraph saying that there's been a high frequency of injuries at Giga Berlin, including burns and amputations. Before I even continue with all reporting, we have to look at the source and understand the context. The comments and content of most of this article are coming from one source, the IG Metall union over in Germany. Giga Berlin is not unionized, it's disrupting that industry over there. Naturally, there is tension here. But they said ambulances and rescue helicopters were called out to Giga Berlin nearly 250 times last year, and the IG Metall representative said this frequency of accidents at work is not normal, adding, "I'm really concerned that at some point someone will be killed." Then the article goes on to share some fairly gruesome stories of things that have happened at Giga Berlin. Let's stick to the facts here. If we have around 250 reports of injuries last year, divided by, we'll call it 12,000 employees right now at Giga Berlin, that would be roughly a 2% injury rate. I was able to find this study from PubMed on workplace injuries in Germany. The main conclusion from the abstract, overall, 2.8% of the gainfully employed population report at least one occupational injury. And this actually includes office jobs. This is not going to be specific to manufacturing, where you would expect a meaningful increase in the injury rate. So we have Tesla around 2% injury rate at a manufacturing facility when the overall workplace incident rate is actually 2.8%. That includes non-manufacturing locations. Now, yes, I only shared one data point, but for this IG Metall representative to say this frequency of accidents at work is not normal, I would push back saying, I don't know, it might actually be better than normal if that source is accurate. Now, looking to capitalize on these headlines, there's a left-wing movement over in Germany that's looking to withdraw Tesla's operating license. As far as I can pick up, the leader of this faction, Dietmar Bartsch, doesn't have that much political sway in the area, but it's out there nonetheless. He said, in the absence of a rapid improvement, meaning at Giga Berlin, the withdrawal of the operating license should ultimately be debated. I won't waste your time any further because when you see lines like this, people are just clearly spewing nonsense and are anti-Elon and Tesla. I'm not a political expert, but it feels like the chances of something like this happening are still very close to zero at this point. It's important for us to be aware of this situation because it's these talking points that travel like wildfire, and then we need to be able to shoot down the FUD. And as far as I can tell, Tesla's accident rate at Giga Berlin might actually be better than the averages. news. We got data from JATO for 28 European markets for the month of August. BEVs accounted for 22% of total registrations, meaning BEV sales grew 102%, over 9 times faster than the rate of gasoline car sales. To highlight the importance of Germany, it accounted for 44% of the total European demand. Tesla sales in Europe more than tripled in just 1 year. Tesla went from 10,000 European sales August last year to 33.8 thousand August of this year. Of the top 25 EV brands in Europe, Tesla experienced the strongest growth. We got a confusing article from Bloomberg and Dana Hall. She's saying the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission filed a new lawsuit today against Tesla, which has to do with a lawsuit that was filed previously talking about racial harassment and discrimination. We heard April last year Tesla was facing an investigation from this very group, but she said that predated a separate lawsuit by California's civil rights agency. But this EEOC is a civil rights agency. She then said in this new suit on Thursday, it's addressing all of the same stuff that we heard in that prior lawsuit that's already been settled. Maybe I'm just interpreting this wrong. I've read it like 7 times and I still can't grasp it. Maybe she's conflating the civil rights agency and the EEOC. I'm not sure. Then she closed with the California case filed last year is pending in a state court. Possibly some new litigation here for Tesla, but hopefully in the weeks ahead we get some more clarified information. We know that EVs are in the midst of being politicized, and if the party does change with the upcoming election, what will happen to the Biden IRA credits? What I do know is this: even if the credits go away, let's not forget, Elon wasn't really in favor of the credits in the first place. Sure, they absolutely helped Tesla, but from a competitive standpoint, when it comes to EVs, if they go away, you could make the argument that actually increases Tesla's competitive advantage in the EV market. Now, yes, on balance, it would make EVs less attractive relative to their ICE counterparts, but for the group of people that are already looking for an electric vehicle, Tesla would become even more attractive. Because Tesla is the only automaker, at least in the United States, selling EVs at a profit, and they can keep driving the prices down with further price cuts, and they can keep making money. Nobody else can do that. Even if the credits don't go away, if we do have a political party transition, maybe the requirements for actually getting these credits becomes tougher and that foreign entity of concern situation changes a bit, meaning very few EVs could qualify for the credit. So again, just wanted to put it out there, something to watch, but either way, Tesla's going to be just fine.
Biden's cruel and ridiculous electrical. Think of this. He wants electric vehicle mandates that will spell the death of the U.S. auto industry. You know, it doesn't matter. I watch it, you're negotiating a contract, you're rolling picket lines and everything, but it doesn't make a damn bit of difference what you get, because in 2 years you're all going to be out of business. You're not getting anything.
And from Auto News, Trump said Ford and GM are either stupid or they're gutless for going along with government emissions standards. And this fall, the Biden administration is supposed to decide how strictly to enforce these foreign entity of concern requirements. And Ford said if its planned batteries with this CATL joint venture are not eligible for the subsidy, Ford executives indicated they could scale back the investment, saying it would be absurd to classify Ford or its fully owned subsidiary as a foreign entity, much less one of concern. We're Ford, we're all in on America. On the other hand, we have GM execs and lobbyists calling for strict foreign entity of concern applications, which would prevent licensing arrangements. So GM and Ford are kind of going at it. GM executive told the Biden administration if consumers use the tax credit to buy cars that CATL helps Ford make, GM and other automakers would be at a competitive disadvantage, saying they would feel pressure to strike their own deals with Chinese firms, undercutting Washington's goal of distancing us from China. Other administration officials think barring any EV with Chinese ties from qualifying for the tax credit could backfire, causing automakers to quit trying to follow the rules for the credit entirely. All of that to say, right now, there's very little clarity for this whole situation, but over the next 12 months, it should come, and it's going to be one of the bigger storylines to watch. Checking in on the Run on Less event, today is the last day. Looking at yesterday though, Tesla's truck number 3, 1,076 miles with 1 delivery in one day. And they adopted a slightly different charging technique. You'll see here they went from about 8% state of charge up to about 46% and then continued on with the drive. The next time around, going from about 1% state of charge all the way up to 88%. And going from 1% to about 90% took roughly an hour and 45 minutes. 1,000 miles in one day though, that will cover plenty of use cases to get things rolling. Along those lines, there's been a design rule change in Australia that could be a game changer for electric freight transport. This new rule will allow wider trucks on Australian roads, bringing the country in line with overseas markets and removing one of the key barriers to local uptake of heavy-duty electric trucks. The change increases the overall width limit from 2.5 to 2.55 meters for new trucks, as long as they're fitted with safety features like side guards and devices to limit blind spots. Part of why following the daily news is awesome, over time you pick up on things like this. Back March 2021, when Tesla said Australia would miss out on electric trucks unless the rules changed, because Tesla said its semi-trucks are between 30 and 50 millimeters wider than the initial 2.5 meter regulation. So Tesla's warning from 2 years ago has been heard and answered. Rivian's incentive agreement with the state of Georgia has just been extended by 2 years, giving them that extra time to hit some of their economic milestones that are required for the incentives they're receiving due to the delays around this factory. At the same time, a union with almost 600,000 members is looking to expand its ranks by organizing thousands of workers who build EVs at Rivian's plant in Normal, Illinois. The International Association of Machinists created a Rivian Auto Union website stating that workers at the plant are demanding fairness, respect, and a voice on the job. Right now, workers are being asked to sign authorization cards, and if there's enough interest, they'll then file a petition with the NLRB. In response, Rivian issued this boilerplate statement, not really saying anything one way or another. As I've been saying the past few weeks, right now is the time to strike for all of the unions. All of the labor situation is getting national headlines. It all has political implications, so we're undoubtedly going to see more of this, and hopefully Rivian does not get looped into being bogged down by the unions. Not anti-union, just not great for innovation and or helping to ensure that these new EV companies actually make it to profitability and stay around.
This week, we've received some shocking reports of violence against our members on the picket lines. In Flint, a non-union contractor driving a large SUV was leaving a General Motors parts depot when they sped up and hit 5 of our members, sending 2 to the hospital in an ambulance. These cowards then immediately fled the scene. In Massachusetts, a member and a state senator were hit by cars on the picket line at a Stellantis parts depot. And in California, our members have had guns pulled on them by non-union contractors crossing the line at a Stellantis parts depot. These members and allies are in our thoughts, and we condemn this violence that GM and Stellantis are enabling. These attacks on our members exercising their constitutional rights to strike and picket will not be tolerated.
In response to those statements, Stellantis said it was appalled by the comments, and GM said it banned a third-party contractor believed to be responsible for that hit and run. Fain also accused GM and Stellantis of standing idly by as the perpetrators injure and threaten the lives of their own employees. Stellantis called on Fain to stop making misleading and inflammatory statements, adding, "Since the UAW expanded its strike to our parts distribution centers last Friday, we've witnessed an escalation of dangerous and even violent behavior by UAW picketers at several of those facilities, including slashing truck tires, jumping on vehicles, following people home, and hurling racial slurs at dedicated Stellantis employees who are merely crossing the picket line to do their jobs." You never want to see these situations turn violent or to see people get hurt or taken to the hospital, so hopefully the situation can de-escalate a bit. Volvo is looking to tap into a $42 billion autonomous trucking market along the southern tier of the US, specifically freight routes from Southern California to Florida. Their president said, "We can all agree it's a massive and big opportunity to commercialize. Customers would pay the truck unit to move goods via autonomous vehicles between highway-adjacent cargo transfer centers. One advantage, trucks would not be subject to the 11-hour federal limit for human drivers. Volvo is working with an autonomous company from Pittsburgh, Aurora Innovation, for its trucks. And Volvo is still targeting a commercial launch with a safety driver on board at the start of next year. Volvo is looking to pursue a hub-to-hub operation. In this scenario, a human driver ferries the freight through an urban area from its origin to a highway-adjacent transfer hub. The load would then transfer onto the autonomous tractor to haul the freight on the highway to a distant transfer hub. Then at that point, a human driver will take over again and get the cargo to its destination. And they said with these autonomous trucks, you need to do a pre-trip and a post-trip inspection, so actually a lot of new jobs will be created. And they said next year it plans to pool the safety drivers to drive freight fully autonomously along the Dallas to Houston route. So many people in the markets have been laser focused on robo-taxis in urban environments where you have pedestrians, stop signs, all of that, but we tend to forget about autonomy in specific highway locations. That's much easier with huge commercial applications and billions of dollars worth of goods needing to be transported. Things are getting very interesting. We got some more information on the upcoming 2024 Honda Prologue EV. It'll start between $45,000 and $50,000 with an estimated range up to 300 miles, and it'll be based on GM's Ultium platform, so hopefully they have enough cells. With an 85 kilowatt hour battery pack, Honda estimates the front drive Prologue will have a maximum range of 300 miles. No estimate though for the all-wheel drive variants. Disappointingly though, they have a max charge rate of 155 kilowatts. The car will have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The SUV should be available to order before the end of the year, with delivery set to begin early 2024. The infotainment screen is 11.3 inches and there's a separate 11-inch gauge cluster as well behind the wheel. This vehicle is set to be 5 inches longer than the Model Y. Auto News is reporting that some industry analysts are now saying the Cybertruck could boost Tesla's already sky-high loyalty. You don't say. A director from S&P said Elon has succeeded in creating this image of a brand that's seen as very, very leading edge and very much ahead of everybody else. That's helping the brand tremendously, and that's going to be very hard for another brand to create. So it's nice to hear, but honestly, it's nothing most of us really haven't known already for months. Don't forget, check out Extra linked below. The backpack is pretty sick, but if you're not interested in that, remember they have all of those wallets too. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please like the video if you did. You can find me on X, linked below, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.